Hey everyone. So about a year and a half ago, my family and I shared a video about our reasons for moving from California to Tennessee and how that first year went. This is a long overdue update to that story. To be honest, I felt like I owed it to all of you to share some further context and honestly offer an apology and a few corrections on some of the things that we got wrong back then. Obviously, this update will make a whole lot more sense if you've seen the first video, as I won't waste your time rehashing all of the old stuff. I'll put a link to that first video in the description to this one. And like last time, I'll break this video up into sections, and I'll do my best to show actual video and stills of what I'm talking about, so you're not just stuck looking at a talking head the whole time. Okay, that's enough of an intro, here we go. Let's just start with the things I got wrong. When we released our first video, I had hoped for a few thousand views. It surpassed that by a bit. And with the views came the comments. I did my best to read and answer all of them, and although the vast majority were positive, thank you, some raised legitimate criticisms. The chief complaint revolved around my stated desire, but apparent perceived failure to stay non-political. I will cover that issue in its own section at the end of this video. Second to that, though, was our criticisms of the quality of restaurants and produce available in Tennessee. We were flooded with recommendations for local restaurants and farmers markets, and now, having frequented many of those recommended restaurants, I will freely admit that our original impression was wrong. We've since found wonderful local establishments serving a wide range of regional and ethnic fare, from a traditional Irish tavern housed in a reportedly haunted Civil War era home, very cool, to taquerias serving carne asada street tacos and other authentic Mexican dishes, on par with really anything we found out on the West Coast. We've also learned to frequent local farmers markets whenever possible for the best farm fresh produce. And to Knoxville's credit, there are a lot of farmers markets in the area in the summer and fall. That said, if you do find yourself needing to run to the local grocery store on, let's say, a Tuesday night in January for a couple of Roma tomatoes, they most likely will not be as fresh as the ones you would find in California. That said, all in all, we did get that one wrong. Another common criticism, which I've come to realize was well-deserved, really was our overgeneralization of the problems we had with California. Listen, there's no question California has the most beautiful and diverse natural scenery in all of the country. I don't know of another place where you can snow ski in the morning and surf in the afternoon. There are also incredible, intelligent, friendly people throughout the entire state. And to be fair, California is far more than Los Angeles and the Bay Area. To Californians who rightly took offense to our using such a broad brush when describing the problems we experienced, I do genuinely apologize. There was hubris in some of our criticisms that really shouldn't have been there. If you enjoy living in the Golden State, I wish you all the very best. I really do. But having said that, I do firmly stand behind my opinions regarding the increasingly difficult business climate, the tax burden, the cost of living, the public policies, the regulatory environment, and the cultural climate that led to our decision to leave. For some, it's worth the cost to live in California, and that's okay. For us, it just simply wasn't. So another thing I think we got wrong was our overgeneralization of how great we found Tennessee to be. To be fair, we were still in our honeymoon phase when we made the video and would have certainly used more nuance when describing all of the things we found to be amazing about living in Tennessee. Listen, just like living most anywhere, it really comes down to what you make of it. You get out what you put in. If you're looking for good things, you will find them here in droves. And if you're looking for the bad, you'll easily find that too. Listen, Tennessee isn't perfect. No place is. But after 3+ years, I can honestly say that we found Tennessee to be a far better place to live, work, and raise a family. We're still in awe of its natural beauty, grateful for its slower pace of life, and thrilled to live in a community that takes pride in itself. Also, living in a SEC town is crazy in a great sort of way. And we still feel an obligation to embrace this community and the culture that drew us here in the first place, and not to try and change it. But the bottom line is this. I'm just some rando making a YouTube video. If you're thinking about relocating here, please jump on a plane, spend some time here first. Experience this place for yourself and see if East Tennessee is right for you. Okay, so the last point I'll make in this section of the video is this. I received a lot of negative and, quite frankly, nasty comments for just being another realtor making YouTube videos. Look, I get it. I get it. I'll trust you to notice that the thumbnail to this video didn't include a picture of my ugly mug, feigning some exaggerated look of surprise accompanied by some ridiculous clickbait title. But in the interest of full disclosure, I do provide for my family by working with people who want to buy and sell real estate in the state of Tennessee. Hopefully you'll see my heart to help people and not see this as a tacky sales video. But honestly, until I get the kids through school, pay for 4 weddings and my own funeral, I'll be here doing my best to help others make the same jump we did. There are a few things that my family and I missed in the first video, as well as a couple of things our experiences would now lead us to be more measured when speaking about. One major thing I forgot to mention is that counties here are far more influential than they are in California, as state power isn't quite as centralized here. Counties have a great deal more autonomy than they did in California. For example, Tennessee has a mix of wet, dry, and so-called moist counties within the state, with Moore County, home to Jack Daniels, famously being completely dry. Also, Tennessee is legally and geographically divided into 3 grand divisions: East, Middle, and West Tennessee, each with very distinct cultures, economies, landscapes, and histories. They're even represented by the 3 stars in the center of the state flag. Tennessee is very proud of its unique heritage and history, and I would strongly recommend you doing a little research on it before moving or even visiting, as it will give you a greater appreciation of this state's unique features and culture. I also may have failed to emphasize how big of a deal the weather is here. Although everything we said about it in the first video is correct, I don't know that we stressed enough just how unpredictable it can be. Knoxville lies at the confluence between the warm, wet weather systems from the Gulf and cold, usually dry weather systems blowing in off the Great Lakes, causing rapid shifts between sun, rain, significant thunderstorms, even occasional snowfall. For example, it was actually warmer in Knoxville on Christmas Day this year than it was in San Diego. 4 days later, the high never got above freezing. Look, we love the drama and the unpredictability. My family and I still find it humorous. It's just part of life here. But if you like consistent, predictable weather, this is not the place for you. But I can say this, because of the frequent rainstorms, I can quite literally say the grass is greener in Tennessee. In the first video, I mentioned that Amazon relied on the U.S. Postal Service to deliver packages, which had caused a ton of problems. But since then, Amazon has opened a major distribution center here, allowing for the smooth delivery of both Amazon packages and U.S. mail. The last thing I'll mention, and this is a big deal for parents with school-aged children, is Tennessee's Universal School Choice Program, which allows parents to enroll their children in the school of their choice, including public and private institutions. I do want to stress that there are residency restrictions, application deadlines, and this program is still being rolled out fully, so you'll want to do your homework to make sure that it's a good fit for your family. All right, here we go. Far and away, the majority of the comments we received on the first video dealt with the politics that differentiate the 2 states. I naively thought I could get away without talking about politics, and truthfully, I wish I could avoid it in this video. Full disclosure, we are a politically conservative family and vote accordingly, but our identity is not found in our politics. And I would much rather talk about those things that unite us and build one another up. But nevertheless, I'll share some brief facts about our state's voting patterns and let you draw your own conclusions. Keep in mind that California gave us Ronald Reagan and Tennessee gave us Al Gore, so neither state is a political monolith. But there are some reasonable predictions one can make by examining the voting patterns over the last 25 years or so. For example, here is an election results map from 1996. And here is the same map from 2024. Tennessee is now firmly dominated by the GOP and has been trending further to the right since the mid-90s. And this is an important point. According to all the available data, the recent influx of residents from outside the state has significantly accelerated that trend. All that said, we have found the people of East Tennessee, of which we now proudly consider ourselves to be a part of, to be generally kind and welcoming on a personal level, regardless of your political persuasion. Though you will understandably hear, "Please don't California my Tennessee," until you've made a serious effort to assimilate. Pro tip here, get your cell phone numbers, ID, vehicle registration changed ASAP. Unfortunately, like everywhere else in our country, political tensions do abound at the moment. Additionally, we talked at length about how Tennessee was a constitutional carry state in the first video, and recent statewide legislation has continued to move in favor of advocates of the Second Amendment. All right, have at me in the comments. Okay, so this video is already too long, so I'll just say this in closing. Pulling up stakes and moving to Tennessee was one of the most difficult things we've ever done for a lot of very personal reasons that aren't in the video. But after 3 years, my family and I still love it here. Of course, there are things we miss dearly about California, but our only real regret is not having moved sooner. Obviously, these are just our individual opinions, so please take them for what they're worth. Again, if you're interested in moving to Tennessee, as we did, I encourage you to come and explore the area first. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll do my very best to answer them. And in closing, I really do wish you the very best wherever you decide to call home. Thanks again for watching.